She learned when to stop talking by the way people leaned away when she started. Not sharply, just enough to notice. So when the doctor asked if she had help at home, she said yes before he finished the sentence. When her sister asked how work was going, she said, "Fine," and changed the subject. When her son asked why she looked tired, she smiled and told him it was nothing. She had gotten good at making nothing sound believable. On Thursdays, she waited in the parking lot until the engine cooled. The car ticked softly as it settled. Inside the building, the lights stayed on late, but she never went in early. She watched people pass with grocery bags, gym towels, loose conversations. Someone laughed too loudly near the doors. She waited until the laughter faded, then opened the car door. Inside, she signed her name the same way every time. Careful, legible, no flourish. She folded her coat over the back of the chair, even though no one else did. When they asked how she was doing, she nodded once. It passed as an answer. He arrived late most nights, not rushing, not apologizing. He'd sit across from her and say he got caught at work, or traffic was bad, or he forgot the time. She never checked. She didn't want to be the kind of person who checked. Sometimes he noticed the bruise on her wrist, sometimes he didn't. When he did, he waited for her to explain. She always did. Door frame, cabinet corner, clumsy hands. He nodded like it made sense. They spoke in pieces, half-sentences, things that didn't require looking at each other too long. When he talked about his kids, his voice softened, and she leaned forward without realizing it. When he talked about his wife, he used her name like a formality, something he had to acknowledge before moving on. She never asked him to leave her anything behind. No note, no call, no proof that she existed outside the room. That was part of the agreement, though they never said it out loud. At home, she kept the lights low. Her son did homework at the table, earbuds in, tapping his foot in a rhythm she didn't recognize. She reheated leftovers and ate standing up. She washed the same mug twice because she forgot she'd already done it. When her phone buzzed, she flipped it face down before checking who it was. He sent messages that didn't ask questions. Running late. Can we talk tomorrow? Thinking of you. She never replied right away. She never let herself sound eager. She knew how easily eagerness could turn into something else. The hidden thing, the one she never spoke about, lived in her body, not her memory. It showed up when she bent to tie her shoes and had to pause halfway down. It showed up when her son hugged her too tightly and she flinched before relaxing. Years ago, before all of this, she had learned what it meant to stay quiet because speaking made things worse. She had learned how to absorb impact and keep moving. It was a skill, even if no one called it that. Her sister noticed the weight loss first. "You're disappearing," she said lightly, passing her a plate at dinner. She smiled and took the food. She ate a few bites. She wrapped the rest for later. At night, when the house was still, she sat on the edge of the bed and waited for the sound of his car that never came. She didn't expect it to. Expectation felt dangerous. Instead, she thought about small things, the way he rubbed his thumb against his knuckle when he lied, the way he said her name only when he was tired, the way he always left before dawn, careful not to wake her. One morning, her son missed the bus. She drove him to school, both of them silent, the radio low. As he got out, he paused. "You don't have to do everything," he said, not looking at her. It wasn't an accusation. It wasn't advice. It was an observation. She watched him walk away before she let herself breathe again. The twist came quietly, like most things in her life. She was early one Thursday. The parking lot was almost empty. She sat in the car anyway, hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. Through the glass doors, she saw him already inside. Not alone. The woman with him wasn't angry. That was the first thing she noticed. The woman was calm, leaning in slightly, listening. Her hair was pulled back the way people did when they were busy but cared how they looked. She touched his arm when she spoke, a brief, familiar gesture. They looked like a pair of people who had practiced being together. She waited too long. By the time she stood, the woman was leaving. Their eyes met for half a second. Nothing passed between them. No recognition, no challenge, just a shared understanding that neither of them would speak. Inside, he didn't mention it. He talked about his day, about a meeting that went long, about how tired he was. She nodded. She asked the right questions. When he reached for her hand, she let him take it. Later, when they were alone, she asked, "Does she know?" He didn't answer right away. He lay back, staring at the ceiling. "She knows something," he said finally. "Not this." She turned onto her side, facing away from him. The room felt smaller. He touched her shoulder, then stopped, as if unsure whether he was allowed. "You could tell her," she said. Her voice sounded distant to her own ears. He laughed softly, not unkindly. That would change things. She didn't say what she was thinking, that things had already changed, that they were always changing, that the cost kept rising and she was the only one paying it. After that, the meetings became less regular. He canceled more. He forgot details he used to remember. When they were together, he checked his phone more often. She adjusted. She always adjusted. Her body started to show it. The headaches, the way her hands shook when she tried to open jars, the nights she sat on the bathroom floor because standing felt impossible. She didn't tell him. She didn't tell anyone. Once, she almost did. She was in the kitchen, leaning against the counter, phone in her hand, his name on the screen. She imagined saying, "I can't do this anymore." She imagined the silence on the other end, the relief, the loss. She imagined him apologizing, promising, changing. She let the phone ring out. The second rise in tension came from somewhere she didn't expect, work. A supervisor called her in, closed the door. "We're concerned," he said, sliding a paper across the desk. Missed deadlines, sick days, mistakes she didn't remember making. She nodded, apologized, promised to do better. She always promised. That night, she didn't cook. She and her son ate cereal on the couch. He told her about a girl in his class who moved away without saying goodbye. "It's weird," he said, like she just erased herself. She felt something tighten in her chest. "People do that," she said. He looked at her then. Really looked. "You don't have to." She smiled. It was automatic. It cost her more than she expected. The last time she saw him, it was raining. He arrived soaked, irritated, already half elsewhere. They didn't touch much. When he talked, it was about logistics, schedules, complications. She listened. "I can't keep doing this," he said, as if he had just realized it. She waited for the rest. It didn't come. "Okay," she said. He blinked. "That's it?" She shrugged. "What did you expect?" He searched her face, maybe for anger, maybe for relief. He didn't find what he was looking for. He stood, kissed her forehead like a habit, and left. She didn't cry. Not then. She cleaned the room. She folded the blanket. She erased her name from the sign-in sheet. At home, she sat at the table long after her son went to bed. The house made its usual noises: pipes, wind, something shifting in the walls. She thought about all the things she had carried quietly, the way love had asked her to be smaller, the way silence had felt safer than truth. In the morning, she woke with a pain she couldn't ignore. She sat on the edge of the bed, waiting for it to pass. It didn't. She called in sick. She lay back down. Her phone buzzed once. A message from him. "Hope you're okay." She stared at it until the screen dimmed. Later, her sister called. She let it go to voicemail. The words piled up, unsaid, heavy. She didn't know where to put them anymore. Outside, the day went on. People moved, cars passed. Somewhere, someone laughed too loudly. She stayed quiet. It was what she knew how to do, and it kept costing her.